While people that are either limited consciousness in the sense of short-sighted, so they don't have faith in humanity, they're not, in fact, apparently, confident in our own ability to achieve integration of the brain, restorative embodied self. And so they're not confident that every person can choose their optimal, not only mental, emotional, physical health. That's one thing when we have our 5D educators who are teaching us, so the psychoeducators, the neuroscience, the physicists, the good ones, the ones who know we have potential. Because the ones who don't know we have potential basically share messages, kind of not constructive. It's not constructive, it's destructive. In fact, their tone is negative. Their words are negative. The choice of words that you use are quite important. In fact, they're doing a study in California, I believe, in a university about how words impact us. I mean, they even talk about that lovely little water experiment thing, and you still have people in 4D plane using words such as energy vampire, dark auras, the whole meat eaters things. I was shocked about that. And then we got people getting interviewed who use exaggerated percentages and then make people think that other people can't achieve, again, their actual ability to use their brain. And so if you're a person, I'm a person, I feel quite insulted. Anytime I see anyone limiting human consciousness, I'm like, you're insulting me right now. So here's where IHP is different, especially all of the 5D mystics in general, besides 5D educators, which is why we're okay with the whole pseudoscience. When I get mocked for being a mystic, when I get told Reiki's not real, stuff like that, or that it's the devil, I am very much aware of what I'm being spoken to. Now, I did go to college. I don't think that has anything to do with my ability to take in people's quote-unquote insults. In fact, I don't consider them insulting. I consider them not as educated, perhaps. Maybe not even that. And it might be, simply put, they have a belief system is what it's called, and I'm okay with them having their, whether it be perspective or perception, it doesn't matter, because when I'm interacting with them, those two words are indifferent in that a person who's a Zen master of themselves, and that's the community we're building, the Enlightenment Soul Age group, Infinite Higher, expanding human consciousness potential, we actually know sophistication. In fact, it's quite amazing because it begins from in here. So we know self-worth. We don't even bother with the word honestly. Every time somebody says, you're worth it, not worth it, like, weirdly, am I worth it? You're giving me a number. You think that life has a number? I think life has no number. And then there's those who say, but yes, it does. And they try to bring to you all these little coins and these little equations of sacrifice. So here's the other thing, though. The love cycle people, we don't know disconnection from this beautiful field of consciousness. It's called Purusha Prakriti. So our energy, the life force energy, it increases. We love days, every day more. You can poke at us all you want. In fact, I've gotten pretty much poked in many different beautiful ways by people who unfortunately did not know about good somatic sensory-motor or trauma therapists. And it's not because they think they need anyone. No, because the adaptive child of them chose to do the whole, here, let me either rescue you or think you need rescuing somehow, which has always been, again, an insult. I'm standing on my 2 feet. I didn't ask to be rescued. I'm not falling in a hole. If I was, then I'd be yelling, help, 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 please help me. So, there's no need to rescue anyone. No human needs rescuing. If anything, they can have a good person to guide, support them. Oh, here's the other part, 4D. Gotta love when they're talking about eras and the passing on of eras. So you can always tell when somebody truly has self-worth, because they're not going to go trying to point out that they can become something. So the word like leader, all words really words don't mean much to us except for we use them to communicate. They have no worthiness except for, how am I going to able to love language? How am I going to bring harmony here? So it's actually an independent relationship with words, because we have an independent Mahasamadhi Samadhi relationship with information. It means it doesn't stay stuck here and you have to, because we don't only use the left mode of our brain, We're able to sit with A and B. They contradict, they don't. We're present. We're always in and out. I learned about the power of now, and I'm like, wow, we are always in and out. So that's for my restorative embodied self individuals, the ones who know everything's going to be okay if we keep working together. And our human species, beautiful. They have definitely a lot of things that we did not know about. Our humanity was not as expanded as it is now. But now we got a little bit of these groups that are wanting to create selected groups. So only some people apparently are humane. No, we all started at 0 years old that we all had the same way of interacting, and that attachment system, yeah, that's impactful in the way that your body will feel life and then how your brain translates. So those things are impactful. And I would say that I'm not going to talk about a 0-year-old as evil. That's for people who are only belonging solely at some point to religious institutions. We know we have some, and they believe in it. That I was taught about evil, and I shared with Lovely above as I read all the psychology books, because I support humanity and I am a human. I was like, look, I don't know these people that are talking about you or using your name or your son's name for that matter. I love your son. I mean, he's the man of love. There's no other person in this world that I love more than anyone. And I won't use the name on purpose, but I know that anybody who knows. So here's where 5D is at. It's oneness consciousness for a reason. Purusha Prakriti, pure awareness of yourself and energy. And it's unconditional love. Purusha, awareness, unconditional love. Very easy peasy for a heart-driven person, which is a person who knows every human is a diamond in the rough. They just need to either get on board with resolving and handling their adoptive child who does the whole, I'm going to idolize someone because I want to look like you when I grow up. And whatever I didn't have, I don't want it to look, and that's simplifying it, because there's so many other things that begin to take them into the picture. And I remember being a teenager and the drama of teenagers, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you talking about manipulators as sophisticated? You saw what they did. You can tell them, hey, I know what you're doing. What are you doing? There's no reason to hide behind these little words that you're learning from movies, which, oh, by the way, exaggerate, or anybody who's getting interviewed and is also exaggerating, because there's this thing that when you're a kid, it's cool. We believe a lot of things. As you grow up, I mean, again, maybe it's because I did go to college. I don't think so. I've met many people. They have middle school. I've met a very beautiful gentleman, and he was very respectful when I talked to him about my mysticism, when I talked to him about Reiki, and when I talked to him about my compassion towards two human beings who were both drug addicts. They both definitely were not treating each other right. It was a relationship that was quite not great, and there were repercussions. And I had compassion for both individuals and the entire family, and I'm like, wow, this is really sad. And out of the people that were there, the one human being with only middle school turns to me and says, did you go to, what school did you do, was his first question, which I don't think matters, but he asked because he heard the mouth that was speaking. And the words that I was choosing probably, or something like that. And I said, I went to college, I got a master's. He says, well, I only have middle school. So I understand what you're saying. And that he goes on to express, but for me, and he brings into the mix all of his beliefs, all of his stuff. And we have a nice adult-like conversation. Beautiful. So for my IHP, that's why we have our 5D, C, Enlightenment, functional adult, love language, so that we can continue to elaborate on expanding and having great conversations that can integrate all differences, because all people are different. The part that is not cool is when people are pointing a finger at individuals and they don't even have a good scale, the whole scale of, 1 to 22, of this beautiful human being who's a researcher and forensic criminologist, and he gives a scale of evil. And he begins that video with, should we really use the word? When it was used only in religious texts, philosophy texts, and da-da-da. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Good point. So 4D likes to spend time in conspiracy theories, and they keep on doing a lot of different types of integrated wording. So when you hear reptilian, the nervous system, our fight, flight, fright is the reptilian nervous system. FYI, our mammalian nervous system is our ventral vagal state. And a person who's a restorative embodied self and an integrated brain knows how to use our integrated brain, all hands on deck, left-right mode, default mode network, which scans for others in the self, saying, am I safe to be around you? Of course I am. You have no weapon. It's downregulated, and we're in our social engagement. So the community that we get to build loves humanity, because nobody is born evil. We're born, and then there's a journey. And we have compassion, the Zen masters. Compassion, forgive them, for they do not know. Forgiveness, it's not about justifying, it's about understanding. You don't live the other person, and the past is a past, and then it's about having communication. And then it's about coming together and voting and doing all the things that normal people do versus creating exaggeration. So to be continued. In the meantime, if you'd love to tune in, there are a bunch of episodes for you. Today's the day after the new moon. Ciao.